see it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either seen.
Not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed. Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race leaders. We head down to the first corner.
Have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead. 54, 48 through 3 and 4. Working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here. Yeah, typically ran off the track in the final quarter. That'll allow Fuller to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller for turn 1. And Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try him here, boys. They're going to do it. Gritsko backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Gritsko going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall. And Sarah Testa hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's huge.
Number 4, people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli. And the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Howden looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. Into the gap behind. I think that's about 15th or 16th spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide over this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final quarter. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
There are many famous racetracks around the world, but none quite top the circuit that we're at here tonight. This track needs no introduction. We're at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps here in Stavelot, Belgium. A very famous racetrack and a very historic one, and also a fantastic racing circuit for some great racing. Can't wait to get both the Super Trofeo and the Prototype Challenge done here tonight. But first, we're going to start off with the Lamborghinis, and I have no one else better with me in the booth than Eric Mickey. Eric, glad to have you.
Yeah, good to be back one more time here at Spa with the SCRS League in their 2 championships, the Super Trofeo Lamborghini Series and the Prototype Challenge a little bit later on tonight. Penultimate round of the championship, so everyone's kind of last week that will be counted as drop weeks too, so it's a big week for points and to get yourself set up for what should be a great finale next week at Le Mans.
Well, so let's get a look at the track for tonight. If you really, I would be surprised if most of the people watching are unfamiliar with this track by now. But he had flying up to the hairpin that is La Source, then a 180 turn, heading down to Eau Rouge, and then Radion actually. Down you go, flying past the Camel straight into La Combes, and then also into hairpin on the other side of the track, and then flying on through Pouhon.
After you get through, yeah, that Pouhon is an interesting corner. It's kind of a double corner there. Big sweeping left-hander. In the Lamborghinis, you're going to have a little bit of trouble keeping the speed that you want and not overshooting the exit, getting on the curbing and getting your car out of sorts. Then you head down into these flat S-curves in Campus. And before you head down to Stavelot, a couple of quick corners. Very important to get to carry as much speed as you can through that second right-hander there. That leads you on to Blanchimont, long straightaway, curvy straightaway that brings you into the final chicane on the course, the bus stop as they call it, and as I recently found out is where the term for a chicane like that actually comes from, this track in general. So should be a lot of fun racing tonight, a lot of opportunity for close racing with the way that the draft will keep the cars together. So looking forward to getting underway as we hear in qualifying with just under half the session left.
Yeah, exactly, and already got a few guys out there qualifying on the racetrack. Currently top of the charts, we find Carter Cundinger in the 02.
Carter's been on fire, particularly in the prototype challenge this season, but really the only one who's been able to show any competition for DJ Alessandrini. That being said, he's still trailing by 50 points coming into tonight, and that's going to be difficult to make up. So Alessandrini is looking for another potential race win here that will, in his mind, lead him to an easy night next week at Le Mans to lock onto this championship.
Yeah, and it's actually, if I'm not mistaken, leading by about 50 points, which is essentially a one-race lead. So I think for him, I would imagine for him, the name of the game is to just get a solid finish. But we know DJ, he's going to settle for nothing less than first place, so it'll be interesting to see if he can climb up. If I'm not mistaken, also, he wasn't quite the fastest guy in practice, but is looking pretty solid in qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, it's in P2 right now behind Carter Cunninger, but only 400ths off. But in third place is Mo Islam, who's only 600ths off. So we've got a really close battle for the top spot here between these top three drivers with just over 3 minutes left in this session. And they have 10 minutes or 4 laps, given the length of time these laps take here. They're at a best lap so far is a 2-minute 18.6. So they're definitely not going to get in all 4 laps. So it's a matter of hitting as many laps as you can get in, getting around the track as quickly as possible to have the most opportunity to set that quickest time.
And then flying on through into the bus stop chicane is Mo Islam, named for back when it used to actually be like a bus stop. Now it's just kind of more of your typical chicane, right then left.
Alessandrini's popped to the top of the board, followed by Owen Farrell in second. Alessandrini has over a 3/10 lead now, so that's pretty strong lap time to throw down there with just a couple minutes left for the rest of the field to have to try to find.
Taking a look at Farrell, and should have just enough time to get one more lap in. Currently sitting in second place. See if he can improve that a little bit more. But we're looking at the top three being all within a tenth of a second, and then DJ blowing it out of the water by 3/10 up ahead of Farrell and Carter Cunninger. And Cunninger, he had a spin we were looking at last lap through, so he's also got only one more lap to potentially usurp Alessandrini up at the top. And I would say if there's no one else that can do it, I definitely think it's Carter Cunninger.
Yeah, this is going to be his last lap that he can put in a time, the one that he's on now, as the session, due to these session rules in iRacing, even if he passes the line with time left on the clock, it's not going to allow him to finish that timed lap. So this is the lap for him to get it done if it's going to happen at all.
Yeah, riding on board with Carter Cunninger and then flying on through Paul. These guys got to be very careful, particularly in qualifying, to make sure you don't go too far to the right. There's also some nasty bumps also on the exit curve there that I found out in our particular 24-hour race that you and I did as teammates. I went out just a little bit too far and completely destroyed our car.
Yeah, that'll happen. I'm feeling that a little bit this week too, practicing for the Preventic iRacing race this weekend. And yeah, you get a little bit too far out there. So these GT3 cars, they're very heavy, so it's kind of hard to judge if you've carried enough speed or the right amount of speed or too much speed until you actually get to that exit and find yourself cresting that curbing, and you can really upset the car. But comes through Blanchimont very fast, and I think that might have gotten him a 1X that's going.
Oh, yeah.
That gave him a 1X and ended his attempt there, and you see taking his frustration out on the wall.
Yeah, and I'm not, and there's nothing I think more frustrating than getting a 1X right at the end of the lap. And we're trying to look at who else we got coming on through. Mo Islam going to cross the line just now. Does he improve? 218.5. No, it didn't count. It was a bad lap, so he's not going to be able to improve that position. Now Sandrini, I think he's finished his run. Satisfied where he is at. Matt Waldblum too far away from the line to get it done. Let's see. Ooh, Derek Rollveld. He's got 10 seconds. Working through Blanchimont now. No, he's not going to. I don't think he's going to make it back in time.
Interesting to note, as we have in the past, the starting order will actually invert the top 8. So while DJ Alessandrini qualifies the fastest and takes home the pole position and the points that go with it, Ryan Plord will actually be the one bringing the field to the green flag.
Yeah, it's indeed a good point. And Florid's been getting some decent runs. He can definitely make some decent runs happen, but sometimes the consistency, I think, has been lacking for that 74. So we'll see if he can get it done here as we got qualifying. Or sorry, not qualifying. Qualifying over. We got a gridding here coming up in just a little bit. And then also, too, we have, as Eric mentioned, this is this penultimate round of this championship going on into next week, where we'll be heading to Le Mans, and also a slight format change.
Oh yeah, these cars next week, there's still some debate over what the point situation is going to be as far as what's available on offer next week, but we will see these cars go for 50 minutes, double the race length, and that will lead to at least one, potentially two pit stops for fuel next week, which is something that these drivers haven't had to do all season, worrying about coming to the pits. But they will next week, and that should be a lot of fun once we get there. But as we see Ryan Plord, Sarah Tessam on the front row, bringing everyone to the green. Let's hope that evergreen Lamborghini doesn't get stuck sideways and cause some kind of blockage of some sort.
Yeah, you're going to have to hope so. Here is the field working the way on through. And we're ready to go green here at Spa-Francorchamps. The field already blazing down to turn one, and a fantastic start from Ryan Plord.
Yeah, he got off that final corner and just went as the leader has the prerogative to start the race as soon as the pace car leaves the racing surface. Plord, veteran of the league, knows exactly that and took advantage of it with that chicane being right there. Everyone gets through that first hairpin neatly and tidily, something we've struggled to see recently this season, but looks like everything's good so far.
Yeah, everyone, nice and single foul. Now it's going to end here as we find down the Kemmel straight for the first time using the draft. And we were talking about that draft. It's definitely going to be an important factor as you go 2, even 3 wide. Alessandrini, if I'm not mistaken, looking up the inside here, trying to get a spot. Is going to back out of it.
Yeah, it's going to be, with the way that this track races, if people just do enough to hit their spots and hit their marks just even halfway decent, it's pretty easily to keep close with your competition due to the draft around here. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly Alessandrini is able to get up through the field.
Running more with the 90 of Matt Waldblum, was looking very aggressive on the back of Tessam and both Plord. Yeah, looking to try to get the lead. Is probably looking one of the strongest cars up at the top at the moment. First, the highest running pro driver as of half a lap.
You got 2 AM drivers leading the field, but followed by all of your pro drivers that are in this field right now, as noted as with the red number boards next to their names. AMs are in the orange. And right now, Plord has been able to lead the entire lap, but Tessam goes on the inside. That's not really a passing zone, not somewhere you really want to try to make that happen. As you can see, that hurts her entry into this corner, which is probably where you probably would have wanted to wait and get the runoff here going into the bus stop.
Yeah, that run out of that final corner there, if I'm not mistaken, out of campus, that's a very important corner, or is that Stablo? Important corner to get right, because you have the run down of Blanchimont. You can see Tessam getting back here, but could have been a lot closer had she had a better run out of the corner. Now into the bus stop. Chicane's going to peel off to the left side, going to maybe have a fender of overlap, can't quite get it done. Waldblum throwing it up the inside, now going to be on the outside. Also, can't quite get it done here as you complete one lap here, and the field's still very close together.
Yeah, and it looks like, and that's nice to see. There's been a lot of discussion over some incidents that maybe were not necessary to have all season long here, but they were able to get through some of these treacherous parts of the race very cleanly and get the field all together still in the race, and everyone still has the opportunity to perform well if they execute from here on out. It's 2 wide through Eau Rouge and Radion between Kundinger and Alessandrini, not exactly what I would feel comfortable doing.
Oh, and you're going to see a great run. That's, I believe, Mo Islam in behind trying to get a run. Going to make it 3 wide. As being 2 wide through El Rouge, you lose so much time. And you can see it right there. I think Mo Islam's going to be able to get it done here. Alessandrini trying to get a run back up the inside. They're going to still be side by side through Lacombs. And it looks like Alessandrini is going to get the advantage here. But Islam still not giving up on the outside.
Great racing back here in the pack between some of our better drivers in the field. You can see why they've got the red number boards next to them, being able to handle this. Looks like Sarah Tessam was able to get by Plord for the lead. Now Plord is defending for second place.
Yeah, Tessin trying to now just drive away from the rest of the field now that she's gotten past Plord. And here comes Waldblum, going to make a move up the inside. Oh, and there you see Plord. He caught the bump and going to be hard into the outside wall.
That's so unfortunate, running up front, having the pace to potentially come out of here with a podium, if not get back in it for the win. He, as we mentioned a couple times already in the broadcast, get too far out there on the exit curbing, and it can really throw the car off. And that's just way too early to be out there and hitting the curbing as it's kind of jumping up directly in front of your car rather than crossing it with just the tires.
Yep, I'm all too familiar with that curb. I've been doing my best to avoid it ever since that.
Has she fallen, or is that a timing issue?
I hope it's a timing issue. No, she has fallen. What happened with her? As we go to take a look at the replay. Oh, this happened right down. Oh, just got loose by herself.
So this is one of those. This is an interesting example, I think, of what might have happened was when you are trailing somebody and you have a car in front of you. You're chasing the rabbit. You can use that car ahead of you to kind of judge your pace off of and everything. And then when you get out front, it can throw you off a little bit because your braking points, your acceleration points, and everything like that changes just ever so slightly. And if that throws you off for even a little bit, you can find yourself in trouble like Sarah did. And I think that might have been part of it there. As we see now, Matt Waldbaum has inherited the lead due to that, with Rolleveld in second, Alice Andrini third, Kundinger fourth, and Mo Islam in fifth.
Yeah, we had our 6 pro drivers. They were in the back part of the invert, again, a top 8 invert. We had Tessum and Florida as the 2 AM drivers that were lucky enough to be up in the front, and both of them already out, or I shouldn't say out of the race, but they're definitely both back in the pack after the first 2 laps. And there you see Carter Kundinger struggling with Samira and grip, as we saw with Tessum struggle with earlier. Islam going to also be held up, and they can't quite get it done, as you see Al-Sadrini slowly creeping his way back up to the front in 3rd place at the moment.
Car go off. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was Fisher 098. Looked like he had lost it by himself. But and you know, speaking of Plord, I'm surprised given the hit that his car took that he's even still in the race at all. But definitely going to be down some speed, but he's still out there to collect positions and points that happen to fall his way.
Yeah, that is pretty surprising because, as Daryl Walter would say,
around.
Yeah, I just saw another car go around. It was Thomas Morris now that just looped it, and this is entering Pouan. I think might have either got some curb and some grass or just threw the car in at a rough angle. Yeah, I think just probably threw it into our back end came around. So already seeing the back end grip being a big talking point and a big struggle for a lot of the drivers here as we look at DJ Alessandrini. Here's the run up to Blanchimont. Going to now look up the inside. Can't quite get it done. It's going to run out a little bit wide.
I call that mid-engine syndrome. You think you slowed down enough, but the weight transfer in the back where the engine is just still will bite you, and it's usually a slow bite, and you're just like angry at yourself. You have time to get angry at yourself that you're spinning before you actually fully go around.
Yeah, one of the trade-offs of driving a mid-engine car, you know, you get some great speed through the corner, great speed, great handling through the corner, but you also have to, as you mentioned, deal with that, just the mid-engine layout and the weight transfer with having the engine further back from you, and that's where we're seeing a lot of these guys, I shouldn't say a lot of these guys, but some of these guys, especially the front runners, struggling at the moment. The top 3 currently breaking away from their drafts. Carter Kundinger, are we surprised that Carter Kundinger not able to keep toe with Alessandrini?
Yeah, I'm very surprised at that. I thought he would have been able to. I wonder if there was just a hiccup along the way that has caused him to lose that ground, but he still has time to get back there. But as we see, Alessandrini looks like he's going to easily take 2nd place away.
Well, not putting up much of a fight. Will hand that position over as there Tessa making the move on Brian Chapelski. We'll get that pass done. How do we think that Waldblum is going to hold up here? I think might have been the fastest driver out of practice. Was definitely at the top of the timesheets at one point. And that beautiful evergreen car.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to keep Alessandrini behind when he has the skill and the pace that he has, as well as the draft effect around this track to help him out. So I think it's maybe just a matter of time. I think what's more important is that Rolleveld and Waldbaum are able to keep tabs with him if he does get around them, so that they can use the draft to their advantage to still challenge him through the rest of the race and potentially later on in the race for the win. So that'll be the first goal, is to keep him behind as long as possible, and then if he does get by you, just try not to let him get away.
Yeah, it's the tough thing though. Once DJ gets in front, he typically breaks away from a lot of drivers. It's a tough thing to stay with him up in front. I think the best thing Waldbaum can do is just try to defend from him back and behind. But the straightaways here are so long in a lot of places where it's so. If the driver behind gets a very good run out of the corner preceding, he can have a very fantastic opportunity to make a pass, and you just gotta kind of hold on for dear life because they're pretty much a sitting duck. But so far, Waldbaum getting it done, showing some decent pace.
And we saw in qualifying he was 0.3 quicker, so that's what makes it tough to stick with him. Everybody else was kind of way closer in lap times, so when you have that, it's a lot easier to stay behind. That was borderline block right there, as they look like they're going to make contact.
And they're going to go flying into the tire barrier at the exit of El Rouge. And both Waldbaum up on his roof, and now Cedrini spun out with damage. Oh boy. Some championship implications right here. Al-Cedrini went for the move to the inside of Waldbaum heading through El Rouge, and a little bit of netcode involved there, but unfortunately they both got together.
Yeah, looking at it from my angle in the back there, just looks like there was just a little bit of movement from Waldbaum looking for the inside there.
And also,
that curbing.
And you could argue didn't give enough, if not for that first incident, it probably didn't give enough room there through El Rouge. And like that, both of them out of the race. And now Derek Rolleveld is surprisingly going to find himself in the lead of this race.
And that's one of those things where you could argue fault versus just hard racing. But Waldbaum is in a situation where he knows he's got to do what he can to race Alessandrini. And when you're not in it for any kind of championship points and you're racing the point leader, you can kind of be aggressive and force them to have to make the choice on whether they want to what kind of risk they want to take. So that was just a situation that seemed to not work out very well for any of them, and hate to see it, but looks like we're going to have yet another different winner, and this is good news for Kundinger, as he's going to have an opportunity to make up some points on DJ, and who knows what that could entail for next week's championship finale, where there may be extra points on the line.
Yeah, we're talking about essentially one race lead coming into tonight for Alessandrini, over Carter Kundinger. And now Carter Kundinger going to be licking his chops now. He's not going to close up by one race worth of points. There's going to be the drops that have to be included, but I definitely think it's going to make some sort of gain at the very least towards Alessandrini, and probably probably pretty significant, I would imagine. So we'll have to see. This could definitely have thrown the championship either which way, but I think this is definitely going to give Carter Kundinger at the very least a fighting chance going into the final round.
So this isn't probably the most popular opinion out there, as I've seen before, but you've got 4 AOD racing cars, and there are 3 different AOD racing teams represented, with AOD green, AOD red, and AOD white. But if I'm AOD Racing, thinking about the championship implications for what we're seeing here with Alessandrini, I believe he has left the server now. He's out and moved on to start practicing for the prototype races later tonight. You need to get max points possible now with Carter and get him to the lead. So not necessarily a matter of pulling over and letting him get by, but when he's got to run, I don't think that you should see them get all defensive or really try to...
We'll probably find this question out here. Kundinger, a great run out of No Name, trying to get a run down to Pua. Will he make a move? He will not. He will sit back in behind Rovo. But it is an interesting point. It's also interesting, too, because AOD White, AOD Red, and AOD Green are the top 3 teams in the team championship. And those guys are in a pretty tight battle. Only 2 points separating AOD White and AOD Red from each other, so it's still tight amongst these 3 teams for those standings. So curious to see how they're going to weigh it out. And in the past, we typically haven't seen these guys really ease up one another. Maybe they cut themselves a little bit of a break, but they will still race you hard And I think Roval, he's saying, you know what, I'm willing to work with you, but you're going to have to earn it here. And speaking of which, here comes Carter Cunningham with the run, going to get the lane by Roval.
Yeah, and I think this is a situation where you'll see Roval give the spot as we do before they get to that kink there. Going into the bus stop.
He's going to have a look here to the left side, maybe try to outbreak Carter Cunningham. No, he's going to stay in behind. I still think that Roval, Farrell, and even Mo Islam for that matter, are probably going to still have a shot at Carter Cunningham, but probably not going to make it too risky, because the last thing you want is to wreck your fellow teammate from a different part of the organization.
Yeah, so I expect Carter may get some challenges from behind over the next 5 laps remaining in this race. But I can't imagine anyone's going to do anything too risky. They've got 4 cars up here to kind of protect. Nicholas Morelli sitting in 5th, the only non-AOD driver with what looks like to be an opportunity at the race win here.
Yeah, I think he's just kind of looking at, picking up some points is pretty far down point-wise in 9th place. Leader is James Miller coming tonight. Kyle Edwards-Lane, he actually had a issue where he had to reinstall iRacing. It's unfortunate here. Hopefully he's back next week. And Brian Chapelski in 3rd. So Nicholas Morelli, I mean, he's not going to have to cooperate with any of them, so I think he might just try to work his way on through. He's got 5 laps to do it, which may seem like a decent amount of time, but trying to make past 4 team cars, essentially. So I think it's probably going to be easier said than done. He's actually trying to lose a little bit of the draft in behind. He's about only a half a second, which is definitely within range, but he's starting to fall back through some of the corners.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the way that these AOD drivers can work together, it's just not challenging each other, not slowing each other up by applying too much pressure from behind. And they're all very quick, very fast drivers. As you can see, all 4 of them are pro-rated drivers, and so they're there for a reason. And if they're able to just hit their marks and everything, and as they should, they're probably hoping to just kind of drop Morelli from the pack. It looks like even on that lap, they really opened up a huge gap.
Yeah.
It looks like back to Morelli.
Yeah, Morelli looking to be 1.3 seconds behind. Just want to take a little bit of a break from that battle. Taking a look at Andrew Mickey and Ryan Caldwell, the only drivers. The other closest battle on the track besides for the top position. Take a look back at this battle up in front again as Farrell making a move on Roval. Take a look back at that into the bus stop chicane. Pretty textbook. Oh, actually not so much, because Roval just made a big mistake, caught a lot of curves to Blanchimont, and that ruined his run down here into the chicane. And Farrell took advantage.
Under the brake there too for Farrell to make that pass. But again, this is when you're dealing with teammates, you have that ability to get a little bit more aggressive and know that you're probably going to have the space needed to for everyone to come out on the other end, which is something we didn't see earlier with Matt Waldbaum and DJ Alessandrini, and that's what leaves Alessandrini in the garage area with Carter Cunningham leading and on his way to a win, which will tighten up the points heading into next week.
Yeah, I'm curious to see by how much that's gonna. Once you do all the math for the drop accounting over all the drop weeks to see how it's gonna end up.
Yeah, that is. On the other hand, depending on what the third drop is right now, you could end up seeing Alessandrini with an even bigger gap, just based on the number of points that each driver will be dropping after tonight's results are posted. And next week's results cannot be dropped, so the points going into next week will be straight up and affected by exactly where the drivers finish next week. So should be interesting to see where things lie after this. I might even see if I can get an answer for us in between races tonight.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Love to see a championship battle get nice and tight towards the end of it. And drivers have to duke it out on the track and not just kind of ride around. As you see, Mo Islam and Roval look like they may have to deal with Morelli here in a little bit, who's looking like he would start to fall off, but I think that battle up ahead helped reel himself back in. I'm also worried for Carter Cunningham. Well, not for Carter Cunningham, for Farrell trying to catch Carter Cunningham. Might just be out of the draft range, 1.3 seconds behind. So he might just be able to drive away here, coming up to 3 laps to go next time at the line. And it's Morelli.
Yeah, I would expect without something happening with Carter making a mistake, running wide somewhere, that Carter's got this in the bag for these final 3 or 4 laps. But we'll see. We've seen drivers make mistakes. We've seen Carter himself make unforced errors in the past as well. So it's not over yet for him. He's got to make sure he executes these final 3 laps.
Robo looks like he's going to be having to get really busy here. He might not just have lost one spot here. His teammate Mo Islam and Morelli looking fairly close in behind. This run down the Kemmel Straight, this is really the big danger zone for the driver up in front. Look at the run that that Islam is getting. Up to the back bumper, he's going to have a look up to the inside. Robo going to give him the lane. And is he going to Lacombs? Is he going to let him by? He's going to still try to keep the fender, but is getting squeezed out of it.
And there's where you get your effect of racing hard for position, leading to the driver behind gaining, as Morelli has found himself with an opportunity for a 4th or even a 3rd place finish here with the way that the AOD cars have been battling for the last lap. Really able to close that gap down, but it looks like 3rd place is going to be probably the best hit that he's going to be able to manage to do if he can get there.
Yeah, I think anything higher is going to be tough because I don't really see Carter Cunninger or Farrell up in front making a mistake at this point. They've both driven pretty solid race. I can't see Farrell overdriving and try to catch up to his fellow teammate to risk a 2nd place finish. But you never know.
So I'm seeing James Miller is out of the race, and he was the AM point leader coming into tonight with Kyle Lamb, who's also not here, as you just mentioned, with some software problems.
Yeah, I think had an issue because he started. He's 7 laps down, so I'm pretty sure he started at least started the race. So I'm not sure what happened to the 09. Didn't catch it on camera.
We had the top 4 drivers going: James Miller, Kyle Lamb, Brian Zabelski, and Ryan Plord, all within 7 points of the AM Cup Championship lead coming into tonight. And right now, Zabelski, I want to say, is the only one who hasn't had problems.
Zabelski go by his lonesome 5 seconds behind Cody Meadows up in front of them, and 2 seconds in front of Andrew Mickey, his next competitor. So a little bit in no man's land here, but yeah, this is looking at him gaining some really solid points over his fellow competitors for finishing up in 7th place, while one's not here and the other one back down in 18th.
So we may see a huge swing in both championships after tonight. Again, it'll all depend on how the drop weeks work and play out once everything is accounted for, but definitely some interesting things to look forward to going into next week if these championship battles tighten up.
Field, at least top part of the field, ripping down the Kemmel Straight once again. 2 laps to go at the line. And really our eyes kind of deviate for this battle for 3rd. Mo Islam not able to break away from Robo. Robo looking like he's setting up for yet another challenge in behind. But it's so difficult to get a run through some of the corners, especially in the middle part of this track.
Yeah, the middle part of the track is, because you don't have any really heavy braking zones, it's really hard to get any passing done there. So it's just about trying to make up time, get as close as you can, out braking and out accelerating the drivers around you in order to set up for when you get to those harder braking zones.
I'm going to feel a follow on through Poole. And then into the S as they go. Oh, I see an incident for Grindel in, I think, out of a hairpin. Whoa, right in front of Sarah Tessum, actually involving Sarah Tessum.
If there is a featherless dart out there looking for something to hit, it's going to end up hitting Sarah Tessum, it seems. She just, she's not always at fault for the incidents that she's in, but it seems like anytime there is one, she's kind of around it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, back in ninth place with some damage.
Going from leading this race earlier on, too, she's not going to be happy with that unforced error made earlier that has her running down in, well, 9th place, which isn't terrible, but the race has not been what she
when you consider the fact that you're up in the top part of the standings with a pretty solid car. She had some pretty decent pace, but unfortunately just not meant to be.
Someone get out there and tell her a clicker from the Last of Us games is behind her. That'll quicken the pace.
Yeah, we'll see here. She's got to deal with Eric Brown here for about another lap. Speaking of which, one final lap for Carter Kundinger, 1.5 seconds ahead of Farrell, trying to chase him down. Mo Islam sitting in third. Robo and Morelli are top 5 still, and it looks like for Robo, probably one of his better chances here. Looks like he's not going to quite get there. Effectively, he's got one really solid shot. If not, got to just put the pressure on Islam to make a mistake.
Yeah, looking for any opportunity here on the final lap to gain that one more position, those extra couple points, and see what happens as they come out of it. Carter really executing the race that he needed to once Alessandrini had his troubles with Waldbaum.
Yeah, pretty much just driven flawlessly since they just kind of got a chance of getting some solid points in. Is taking every step towards getting the maximum amount of points that he needs to, again, close that championship battle back up. And I think he's going to be a pretty happy man at the end of half a lap here, working through the S's now. Still looking here back at Islam, Roveld, and Morelli. Haven't seen anything too crazy here. I'm not sure if Roveld's been saving something up here for final run as they head on through Stablo and into Blanchemont for the final time for these Lamborghinis.
The time where you want to use up all those 1Xs.
Yeah, pretty much if you've been saving it. And then looking back, it looks like Rovell did not quite get a good run. Morelli, however, has got a pretty decent run here heading through Blanchemont. Let's see, this is going to be his last shot.
Good break attempt here.
Yeah, he's going to try to pull out to the left side. You can see Rovell giving him the spot, or giving him at least a lane, but up in front, Carter Cunning are going to run out of the final corner. He will take home the win here in Super Trofeo, followed by Farrell, Mo Islam, your top 3. And at the line is going to be Rovell over Morelli for your top 5.
Solid race.
Yeah, all the way a little bit further back, we find Cody Meadows up into 6th place. He comes flying across the line. Who we see here just at the end, Shabelski going to stay ahead of a charging Andrew Mickey for 7th. Mickey in 8th place. Sarah Chessum, imagine going to be slightly disappointed in a 9th place finish, but still a solid drive, especially with the damage to her car. And we'll hold off Eric Brown for your top 10. You were saying, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, I was just mentioning it was ended up being some really good racing all the way through the full 25 minutes. With everyone being really close at the front, not really able to get away. I think that bodes well for prototypes, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it's going to play out here in just a little bit, but there's taking another look at your top 10. Carter Cunning are going to be a happy man with a lot of points in the bag. I'll have to see if that's going to be help him out enough heading into the next week at Le Mans. And he got Farrell, Mo Islam, Derek Roffel. A great day overall for AOD.
Yeah, I mean, once again, they've proven to be probably the strongest overall organization, even with all 3 of their teams having cars up front seemingly in every race that we do at the front of the field. So definitely one of the most powerful teams out there in the garage right now.
And it looks like we got Carter Kundinger waiting in the booth, so we'll drag him back up to talk with us. Carter Kundinger, your race winner. Carter, that was a fantastic job, and I imagine that you're pretty happy with taking home some points. Carter, got a copy? Yeah, it looks like Carter's got some not internet issues, but it looks like he's got some issues short. We'll go to Farrell finished in 2nd place. Farrell, you got a copy.
Indeed.
There you go, got you. That was a solid 2nd place drive. There wasn't quite the win, but still a great drive for you in the 266.
I just don't have the pace to keep up with Carter. He's an absolutely incredible driver, and like all credit to him for keeping it in front. And yeah, massive shout out to the AOD guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't be happier than that. You know, like it couldn't have been a better result for us. So
Yeah, that's what we were talking about was, you know, especially knowing that Carter is second place in the standings, that have any effect on the way you were driving around him? Were you cutting him some slack, or were you just going full on, just trying to chase him down?
This might not be the answer that Carter wants, but I was pushing as hard as possible to catch up with him. He just had all of the pace in the world, like I just could not catch up with him for love nor money.
All right, well, Farrell, thanks for talking to us. Great second place finish. Best of luck to you next week at Le Mans.
See ya.
And let's see if we can get Carter Kundinger back in the booth. Carter Kundinger, you got a copy?
I should this time, yeah.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, man. What I was saying is a great job for your solid first place finishing position. And I was mentioning, you know, with the points so close between yourself and DJ, how are you looking into next week?
I mean, you know, it's been really nice. Obviously, another win again tonight, which is awesome. Just my goal really is just trying to keep the points as consistent as can be, and I think I've kind of been doing that throughout the season here. So to pick up a few wins is really nice, and I mean, unfortunate for DJ obviously, but fortunate for me for him to come out with basically minimum points. That's going to help me claw my way to the top here at the end.
Yeah, I was going to ask too.
I should mention, as part of our April Fool's promotion, the points have been inverted, so last place is getting max points.
If only I knew.
But no, seriously, for Carter, for you, going into next week, what's the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, really the game plan, just like every race, you know, just go out there, quali well, and then the plan is just, you know, run a consistent race towards the top. I'll have to see, you know, at what spot I need to finish. Let's say if DJ does end up winning next race, or if I need to win, that'll definitely be the goal, and I'll be shooting for that. But I think nothing more than that, though. You know, I'm just honestly, just to come out of this season with a championship would be ideal at this point.
Well, definitely looking forward to see if you can get it done, Carter. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, with that, it's going to be wrapping up interviews here from Spa-Francorchamps. And Eric, your final thoughts?
Yeah, sorry about the interruption, but I just had to get that in there.
No, you're good.
But yeah, it was. I mean, it was a fun race to watch. It was very clean. I mean, every incident we saw seemed to be, besides the incident for the lead with Waldbaum and Al Sandrini, were single car spins, unforced errors, and everything like that, but didn't really impact the race overall outside of, as I mentioned, that one incident. But everyone was kind of close together, and that's the kind of racing you can see here at Spa when you get into the GT3 ranks and everything. So it was a lot of good competitive fun. And you got one race left. You're going to have 50 minutes at Le Mans next week to go out on top, or as high up on the board as you can. And I think all these drivers are looking forward to that.
Yeah, and again, looking forward to the next round. It'll be the final round of the season next week at Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans. Looking forward to seeing that race get underway. Again, a championship on the line across both the overall, the AM, and even the team championship. So definitely tune in next week to tune into that. But for now, my name is Finney Kuna here with Eric Mickey, signing out for the LazyRocket Super Trofeo Series.